All right, everybody, we are back with another episode of Wealth for the Culture. I got my boy Deangelo Watson on, man. He's doing all I'm tell y'all is y'all about to get a lot of game, man. He got credit repair going, trade line business, he does trucking, business funding. I ain't seen too many people that got this much going on and actually successful at it. So we're gonna get into his story, man. He gonna drop the game on y'all. And first off, man, I just want to say I'm grateful for having you on. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you for having me on. It's always a blessing when I could bless others.
Yes, sir. So how I normally get these started off, man, if you could just give everybody like, a little bit of your background, your upbringing, and kind of like also the financial, if anything of that nature was brought up in your household coming up.
Okay, yeah. So I grew up like a lot of black men, single family, single mom household. My mom, she actually had me when she was 17. So she had me in high school, but luckily she graduated from college. She was able to, be stable. And
Hmm.
my upbringing wasn't crazy. Um, and really, she just always instilled in me, go to college. You're good with numbers. You're good in math. You might need to go for engineering. So I think that was a major key for me having my mom give me some direction because as a kid you don't really know what you want to do, and if your
Yeah.
parents never went to college or they don't know what to do, then it makes it hard for you. So I took her advice, went to school for computer science. Um, and she also told me, to open up credit cards too. So my freshman year of college, I opened up two credit cards. It was a Wells Fargo card and a First Financial Bank card. I don't recommend that credit card. First Financial Bank is trash. Um, but I started out with credit. Back then, I didn't really understand. I just got the credit cards. Um, finished school, with my computer science degree, and that allowed me to have a solid financial backing. So, like, I started out with a $62,000 salary straight out of college. So I wasn't really stressed about money, but I didn't really have the financial knowledge, financial literacy knowledge to budget my money. So when I got that money, you come out of college, you
Yeah.
probably, making $400 a month. You come out of college now, you bringing home $1,600 every 2 weeks. You don't really know what to do with that money. So I was running through my money, booking flights, restaurants, shopping, all that stuff. And a year after me working in corporate America, I had like over $5,000 to $10,000 in credit card debt that I had racked up, and I didn't understand how I had got to this point because I had the money. Um, so that was really like a wake up call for me because I was like, if I continue down this path, I'm gonna have a lot of problems with money and keep continuing this credit card debt. So that's a little bit about me and how I, just a little understanding of how I got started. Because once I hit that roadblock, I started doing a lot of self educating, reading books, started getting into, budgeting, saving money. And then being in corporate America, I just saw how it is, being a black man.
Yep.
And I saw it was going to be tough for me to climb the corporate ladder because that was originally my goal to climb the corporate ladder when I graduated college. Um, but I saw how tough it was, so I started looking for other avenues to start making money.
That's what's up, man. And you hit on a lot of different things. For one, shout out your moms, man, for getting you through, and especially at least trying to kind of put you on some type of game because especially at least for me growing up, the credit thing that was like don't mess with credit at all. Growing up in my household, man, it was just like oh credit bad, all this and that. That's because if you don't understand um, what's going on with it, how to utilize it to your advantage. I can understand why people say that because I ran through the same situation as you. I ran up credit cards. Oh, look who we got. All right, sorry about that. Got my new
Building.
guest co-host Brandy.
Hey, how y'all
What's going
doing?
on? What's
Can
Good.
y'all
going
hear
on?
me?
So yeah, we
Yes.
hear you good. So
Cool.
this is my boy Deangelo. Basically, we got into his background. He doing a little bit of everything: credit repair, trucking, trade lines. We're gonna get into
I
it. So we just
heard.
started. So yeah. All right there. But for the most part, this is what I want to know, man. Like, because we were talking about, corporate America, because I'm in the same boat right now. I'm in corporate America. Brandon, she a full-time entrepreneur. I see the
Yes.
same thing you see as far as like you think you're gonna come in and work up the ladder, but being black and being in corporate America, it's just not a. You start to realize it probably ain't gonna happen, so you're gonna have to find some alternative, which is what I did as well as Brandon. She stepped out and said forget it, and she just went full time entrepreneur. So my thing for you is with college, because you also mentioned that you off the mic that you paid for a course. So what is your thoughts on college versus paying for a course, things of that nature?
So with college, my thing is, um, you want to check and see what the starting salaries and what the demand is for that particular major or that degree. So that was one of the things I did my freshman year. I looked and I saw what the starting salaries were for computer science majors. So that's what motivated me to continue my path with computer science, because I knew the amount of money I was making would be able to sustain my lifestyle, and I would be able to pay my student loans back. So I would recommend making sure that you can that degree that you go for, you want to make sure that you can pay your student loans back and whatnot. And then in regards to self education outside of the traditional school system, I highly recommend that, because honestly, me paying the $4 or $5,000 to go through a mentorship program, it allowed me to start making $10,000 $20,000 a month, and it's honestly no way really you can make that type of money by investing 50, 60, 70,000 in college, unless you're going for a doctorate degree. But even then you're probably going to spend six figures in education. So I look at both as still valuable, the college degree, because you do make connections while you're in college. But I also want people to start looking at outside of the traditional school system, look into these different trades, because with the trades you can instantly start making money instead of having to wait 4, 5, 6 years to graduate to start making money.
Absolutely.
Most definitely, and I'm glad you hit on that because a lot of times, especially like me, I started off. I know you mentioned that originally you was going to go for engineering, but I started off going for engineering, and I quickly switched over to business. But one thing I realized, and I was talking to my boy about this like over the weekend, like you'll see they have entrepreneurship courses, but they're not even taught by actual entrepreneurs. And we'll sit there and go to these classes and stuff and think that this is the way. And then when we see somebody like a Hemp 500 or like a Chris Johnson or somebody teaching the course online, we'll immediately think, oh, this is a scam. But they really out here already getting results. So naturally, like I think people got to take that into consideration because if you want to learn how to do something, you want to go learn from the source. That way, you can get that streamline effect and kind of cut out all that extra fluff that you don't even need. Like you can get the A to Z, book right there and get going. So that's definitely
And then
something I
also
agree with you on.
statistically, trades pay a lot more than all these other jobs, and we don't have as many people as we need to fill those jobs. So I was just having a conversation with some people earlier today, who kept mentioning that about this whole unemployment thing ending, and they didn't want to go back to minimum wage jobs. And I'm like, you could have took that money that you were getting from that unemployment or whatever, all that money y'all been getting, and put it into a trade. You get a paid for a course, and then that way you get automatic return on your investment, and you're going to make really good money. Because, like I said, we don't have enough people in those trades, and they post about that all the time. They do like reports about that we need more people in trades. So definitely makes money. It's a great way to go.
Yep, and they be taxing for them trades now too because it ain't a whole lot of people out there doing it.
True.
And another thing, like people take for granted, like there's nothing wrong with quitting and like going to the entrepreneurship route. But D'Angelo, you say you still work at your regular job, right?
I still work my 9 to 5, so I don't, discredit, working a day job, especially if you enjoy your day job. Um,
Absolutely.
with me, my work life balance for my job is super low. So like I'm a scrum master, which is kind of like a project manager, and
Hmm.
pretty much I only really dedicate maybe 1 or 2 hours a day to my job. Now, if I was working, 8, 10 hour days, I would probably have quit my job by now. But having that work life balance, it really allows me to spread my entrepreneurial wings and work on my other businesses.
Sure. Now, this is what I want to get into because I know your start, you was mentioning, came in like the credit game. So, what is your opinion? Because this is like a running topic. I have these discussions with a whole bunch of people, like good debt versus bad debt, the power of credit, and all of that. Can you just kind of break down your thoughts on that?
So I mean, it's simple. Like good debt versus bad debt. Good debt is debt that makes you money. So I give you a real
Right.
world example. I took out two personal lines of credit last year to purchase a semi truck for my trucking business. So that $37,500 in line of credit, it cost me around $750 a month. That was my monthly payment. The truck that I purchased generates 20 to 25,000 a month in revenue. After expenses, we're looking at around 8 to 9,000 in profit. So that $750 monthly payment yields a $8,000 profit a month. So that's an example of good debt. Bad debt, that would be using your credit card to take a vacation. You get no return. So that's the difference between good debt and bad debt. Um, and then, like in terms of credit, just in general, you want to understand that if you know how to structure your credit report correctly, you can get anything you want from the banks. So it's not so much looking at your score all the time and hoping that it goes up. It's more so understanding your credit report and understanding what will raise and lower your credit score. So, for example, you have six main data points on your credit report that you want to pay attention to. The first one is payment history. I always want to keep that at 100%. Even if you can't pay the credit cards off in full, you want to make the minimum payment. That accounts for 35% of your score. Credit card utilization. So this is your current balances divided by your overall credit limits. Ideally, you want to keep your utilization below 10%. And if you're going for funding, like if you want to apply for credit, you want to make sure that your utilization is between 1 and 3%. So you don't want to look desperate to the banks when you go apply for credit. Utilization accounts for 30% of your score. Derogatory marks, no collections, no charge offs, no bankruptcy. You want all that wiped away. There's credit repair companies out there that does that for you. And you can actually file disputes yourself against the credit bureaus or the creditors. And you can get that stuff removed. You don't have to wait 7 years for it to fall off. Average age of credit history. So this is your new accounts and your old accounts, and it's the average of all of them. You want to have at least 4 to 5 years average age of credit history. Credit history accounts for 15% of your score. There's ways you can increase your average age of credit history by adding older authorized user trade lines. So basically becoming an authorized user on different credit cards can help increase your average age of credit history. Then you have total accounts. You want to have at least 10 open positive accounts. You want to have a mix of revolving and installment. So for people who don't know, installment are loans that once you pay it off, it closes. Revolving is credit cards. So once you pay it off, you still have access to that line of credit. You want to have at least 10 on all three bureaus. And then your
Mm.
hard inquiries is last. You want to have no more than 3 hard inquiries on your credit report whenever it's time to go for funding. So if you can hit all these data points, you should be in that 750 plus credit score range.
So y'all don't know. This man just gave y'all free game on what y'all's credit profile needs to look like to set you up for success. Because a lot of people don't even understand what you were just saying. So I'm glad you broke it down in detail to just help out, the regular person that's out there trying to figure out. Because I get hit up. I'll tell you, I just started the credit repair, and I get hit up all the time, and people don't realize they think that you just gonna come in and sweep their credit in 2 weeks and be good, and it's just like you gotta explain to like it don't even work like that. Like you take time. It takes time. Like he was just mentioning 4 to 5 years of average credit history. That's just for your age. That's just like good standing. You got to think about as well. I believe you could correct me if I'm wrong. As far as like the trade lines go, you don't necessarily have to have a good credit score to be able to like put have a trade line on one card or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's correct. But what I always recommend is making sure. Um, so with trade lines, with the authorized user trade lines, they're more so a quick fix, and it's something you want to add maybe like a month or two before you plan to apply for credit, or maybe you're trying to apply for an apartment, or whatever, a mortgage, or whatever the case may be. you want to add it a couple months before, because it's a short term fix. And honestly, you want to make sure you don't have any like collections, charge offs, or any negative accounts on your profile when you add that trade line. Because if you do, it's not going to increase your score by as much because those negative accounts are weighing down your score. So you don't have to have a high credit score to get the add an authorized user trade line, but you do want to make sure you don't have any negative accounts.
So I kind of wanted to go ahead. Brandy actually has a trucking company now, so we could just dive in to like everything you got going on. So let's just go on the trucking route. Like, what even made you get into that industry?
Right.
And what made me get into the trucking industry, I honestly got to say, like, just hearing the numbers, like, I would be on YouTube, like, this was back in like 2017, and I was just on YouTube, just talking to people, well, watching videos, and also talking to people who were in the trucking industry, and I saw, that it was money to be made, but I didn't know how to go about starting my business. So I did a lot of listening to podcasts and YouTube channels, and then I came across Alex Good Energy. He was
Mm.
on Earn Your Leisure
Yeah.
podcast. I think that was back in like 2018. And prior to that,
That
I
was
had
right
started.
before he blew up.
Yeah, so I had started a trucking business with a couple guys when I was living in Atlanta, but they saw how much the startup cost was, so we put a pause on that. But I still wanted to start the business. I just didn't know how to go about it, and I wasn't educated at the time on how I could leverage my credit to start it up. Um, so fast forward to that interview, I actually sent it to one of my best friends, and I was like, "Man, are you interested into the trucking business? Are you interested?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." So we started our LLC back in 2019, and our plan. So I had this was premeditated. I had already reached out to a family member of mine. It was my cousin, and I asked him would he be interested in us putting him through CDL school. Because at his current position, he was working a factory job, wasn't really making much, so he was ready for a change. So our plan was to put him through school in 2020, but the pandemic happened and all the schools started shutting down. So we had to wait till like July of last year to put him through school. So we put him through school. We paid for it after he finished school. It was 4 weeks after he finished. Um, we got on the road and we started with Amazon Relay because they work with brand new trucking companies. So we started rocking with them, and we pretty much ran with them for our first 90 days. We made 55,000 in revenue in our first 90 days. So that was our start in the trucking industry.
Okay. And so as far as like difficulty that you encountered with different shippers and things, after that 90 days, did you find it kind of hard to like get on with the different companies and do you have dedicated lanes?
So we still only have one truck. We dispatched
Okay.
for another truck, but
Mhm.
after that 90 days, we started running with JB Hunt a lot. Um, And we would sometimes work with other brokers on the different load boards, like the DAT load board. But we
Right.
didn't really struggle too much. Like, we would have some people that say, "Hey, you're only 90 days in. We can't work with you." But for the most part, once you hit that 90-day threshold, a lot of brokers will work with you. And then at that point, it's just making sure you know how to fill out paperwork, those carrier packets where you're, you know, putting basically completing a profile for the different brokers. So we didn't really have
Right.
too much trouble with it.
Okay. And for the people who are interested in trucking, can you tell them a little bit about like starting up? Did you find it easy? Did you find it kind of difficult or information heavy as far as setting up your authority, getting your MC and your DOT number, things like that?
Yeah, so it's a lot of paperwork in the beginning. It's a lot of paperwork, and with the trucking business, you have to make sure you're compliant. So you have to make sure all your documentation and your paperwork is together because you will get audited. So you want to make sure that you have everything in place. But I do have a program where I walk you through. everything that you need to get started in the trucking business. So I walk you through your DOT, your MC application, getting all your necessary filings done, like your BOC3 filing,
Mhm.
doing your UCR, your Unified Carrier Registration, getting things like that in order, getting your
That
toll
IFTA.
platinum. Yeah, if
Mhm.
IFTA set up, making sure you're paying your quarterly taxes for IFTA, making sure
Mhm.
you're ELD compliant, got your login device, making sure you're not going over your hours of service because your drivers have a certain amount of hours. So it's a lot of stuff. It's
Right.
a lot of information. But in my program, I give you everything you need to get started in the trucking business. But it is a lot. You can really figure it out on your own, because that's what I did. I honestly just got on YouTube, listened to podcasts, and I started making a checklist of everything that I need to get in order to hit the ground running and book my first load.
Right. So for all y'all out there who are interested in the trucking business, you heard D'Angelo. There is some work that goes into it. You can either figure it out. I did the same myself. I figured it out my own. I actually started my trucking company because I heard the numbers. I had a friend who was saying how much money she was making, and she had a contract for a certain amount of trucks. So I went out and I bought a truck thinking that I would add it to her contract. Um, Needless to say, that kind of went south really quick. And she just left me high and dry. Like I didn't know anything because I was leaving it up to her to dispatch and basically run the truck. So after that happened, I was like, okay, well, I got this investment. I got this truck that I paid for cash. I need to make it move. And so I started on my path to like figuring it out, finding out the MC and the DOT and finding out all of the filings, like you just said, BLC3 and things. And finally, my truck Inc. is up and running. So D'Angelo has a class, you guys. You can either purchase it. I highly recommend to go ahead and purchase the class because it's not something that you want to sit on. You don't want to waste time because time is money in this industry. So highly recommend purchasing a course. I'm going to create one myself just because there are so many steps. And I just believe that there's no purpose in reinventing the wheel. So if you can find a mentor or someone who's already gone through the hard steps and figured it out, go ahead and follow the blueprint.
All I'm gonna say right now, because I'm actually all my business is angled towards real estate and trying to get trucking going next year with my boy. I'll put it like this: for Deangelo, it's basically what he got at for the most part was you have to be able to take some type of action, man. Like he got the information, he ain't wait, ain't hesitate. He hit the ground running, he took some action. So that's the first thing. Like a lot of people will get all this information, get analysis paralysis, and don't do nothing with it. Now, branding, what we got here is a situation of when you fail, what you gonna do? You gonna pivot or you gonna just quit? So
Right.
she ran into an issue and she pivoted. But my boy D'Angelo, the way he does everything to me, from what I'm hearing, every business he started, he find like a way to make 3, 4 different incomes off of that one industry. Like he's trucking, he teach you how to do it. He does. He mentioned dispatching even, which
Yep.
I know they get paid too because I've
Yes,
had a
they
dispatcher
do.
on here. Then with credit, he's mentioned that he got the credit repair, he got the trade lines. And now what I really want to get into, because this is like the game changer with me when you were just breaking it down off mic a second ago, the business credit side of things.
Yes. That's
So can
that's
you
when you get into the real
just
money.
Yep,
can you
yep,
just
yep.
break down all of that, like the business credit? I guess let's start like this. Because I know you'll need an LLC. So like, how do people kind of go about getting everything? Like, what do they need to get set up to even get into worrying about business credit?
So first, you want to structure your personal credit, and you want to make sure you have a strong credit profile. Because with business credit, most banks they'll lend you business credit, but it'll be based on your personal credit unless you're making 1 to 2 million in revenue from your business. So if you're making millions in revenue from your business, you can not have to personal guarantor, which means put your social security number on the business credit card applications. You won't have to do that. You'll be a no PG. But for everybody else and myself, we're not at 1 to 2 million in revenue. So you want to make sure you have a strong personal credit profile. So if you have that in order, even if you don't have it in order, you can still start working on setting up your LLC. So with your LLC, what you want to do is you want to first decide on a business name. With your name, you want to make sure it's ambiguous for funding. So by that, I mean generic. So for example, my consulting business is called FFB Enterprises. The banks, they don't know what that means. When I go to them and open up a business account, they ask me what do I do. I don't tell them I do credit repair. I don't tell them I'm in the financial
Mm-mm.
services industry. I tell them that I help businesses start up. So I tell them I help people start up their businesses. I keep it very vague and generic because they're going to assign you what's called a NAICS code, and this NAICS code will classify your business. And if it's in an industry that's deemed high risk, it'll reduce how much funding that the bank will give you. So you want to make sure with your business name, you want to keep it generic. So even with trucking, and I didn't know this before because my trucking business is called Tramway Trucking, but even before, well, I wish I would have known this before, but even with trucking, you want to keep it, a generic name. So you can
Oh,
use,
hold on. I didn't know that.
yep. And you
Yeah,
want,
so I know financial services and credit repair, things like that are deemed high risk. My company is named BMW Logistics. You
mhm.
think that would be an issue?
It may be an issue. The only way to find out is applying for, some credit. But I know
Right,
we
because I'm actually starting on the business credit thing right now. So that's interesting. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, so I would say like when you start filling out business credit card applications, just put that you're a consultant. Like if it gives you an option for your industry type, look for some form of like management of businesses or like some type of consultant for the industry.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true. Cause I ran into some issues with that. Me and my boy, we was gonna do stuff, and we started running into issues. And originally, I was gonna just partner with him on his credit repair, but he had his stuff listed actually for credit repair, and
Oh,
so we go to the bank, and they were just like, "No, we ain't rocking with it." So that's when I realized like I got my own LLC too. So I just kind of had it structured though on the consulting end. So I was like, that's a little bit more broad. Like you can do a lot of things under that.
So
Yeah.
That's definitely
yep,
a gem right there.
yeah. So that's the first thing. You definitely want to decide on a strategic business name, so you can get more business funding. Once you decide on that, you want to get a domain name. So for those who don't know, that's like your internet real estate. So um, instead of using like company name at gmail.com or yahoo.com, you want to do like info or support or whatever at companyname.com. So you want to have a domain name reserved, and you can purchase that off of Google Domains or GoDaddy. Those are two popular domain providers.
Mhm.
After that, you want to get you a business address, and you can use your home address for trucking. You can use that. Ideally, you want to use a virtual office. So with the
Mhm.
virtual office addresses, is basically you're not really going to that location, but it looks good on paper. And you want to make sure that the virtual address you choose, you want to make sure that whenever you Google that address, you want to make sure that a commercial building will show up under Google Images. So you want to make sure it's an actual commercial building and not a mail center, because the banks will Google your address when you open your business account. And
Yep.
you can get those virtual offices from companies like Regis, iPostal One, Opus. So those are some popular virtual office companies where you can get your virtual office from. So you want to get that. You want to decide on a registered agent. You want to get your um, what else? Your business phone number. So you could do a free Google Voice number, or you could get a virtual 800 number from companies like Grasshopper. You could do Freedom Voice. So those are a couple companies you can go with for the 800 number, because the name of the game is making sure your business looks professional on paper.
Mhm.
You want to get that set up. Once you get all that in place, you can go to your Secretary of State. So every state, Texas, and Georgia, North Carolina, whatever, they have a Secretary of State website. So you want to go to your state Secretary of State website, and you want to create an account. You create an account on your Secretary of State website, and you want to you want to fill out what's called your articles of organization or your certificate of organization if you're doing an LLC. If you're
I
doing a
got a question
corporation,
for you.
go
My
ahead.
bad, bro. All right. What's your thoughts on legal Zoom?
Man, legal Zoom, Legal
'Cause
Zoom gonna take your money, man. My first LLC I did back in 2017, they charged me like $400 for it. And once I realized that I could set my own business up and save half of that money, I don't deal with LegalZoom no more.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that everything you mentioned, I'm going through the hard part of it now, and I'm learning this. So that's why when you mentioned the virtual business address, it stuck with me because I accidentally got one that was a mail sender.
Yeah,
I messed that up, so I had to go get that fixed and situated. The same thing, like Legal Zoom. I remember I told her I had another guest on. I was mentioning Legal Zoom. She was like, "No, that ain't it. It's just gonna take your money." And I mean,
yeah.
you can. She was just like, "You can do it yourself." So I'm glad you hitting on all of this because a lot of people don't. They run into all these issues. And Legal Zoom is seems so easy, but then you realize like I'm paying $200-300 extra, and they ain't really doing nothing extra for you.
Man, you could build your own LegalZoom company. You could start you could start opening LLC for people and charge a little less than what they charge. Like in my mentorship, I tell my people, I'm gonna show you how to set up LLCs the right way, and you can go out and charge people $100, $200 to help them set their LLCs up. So I wouldn't do LegalZoom just because of the price. And it's easy once you learn the steps to set up your LLC. It's easy once you learn how to do it. But you fill out that articles of organization form, and then after that, you should get email within like a week from your Secretary of State letting you know that your LLC has been filed successfully. So they let you do it electronically, so you can fill out the articles of organization form. You'll be putting your business name, your registered agent address. So you'll be filling out all of that on the form. You'll submit it electronically with the fee, whatever your state charges for filing the articles. Once it goes through, they'll send you an email. About a week later, it comes back active. Now you're officially a business owner. So once you get that articles of organization form, you're also going to want to get a operating agreement. So your operating agreement is a document that outlines the roles and responsibilities of each LLC member. So with that, you can get it for free from this website called eForms, and that's the site I use. eForms, you get a free operating agreement. You just filling in your business details, and then it'll generate a document for you at the end to download for free. So you get that document, and then you want to apply for your EIN. So your EIN stands for your employer identification number. It's your social security number for your business. So you get that from the IRS.gov website for free. Um, you want to make sure you get it electronically and not mailed to your house, because that could take like a month or two
A
to get.
while.
Yeah, so you want to do it electronically. So those are the three documents that you'll need to open up your business bank account. So you get those three documents, print them out, print multiple copies out, because you want to open up multiple banks, business bank accounts, because you want to establish relationships with more than one bank. So it's not like a monogamous relationship. You want to be polygamous with when it comes to business bank accounts and building up these relationships. So you want to open up as many business bank accounts as possible, because it'll help you down the road when it comes to business, getting business credit. So you wanted to get all that done. You get all that done. You got your personal credit structured correctly. Now we can go apply for business credit cards. So I'm strategic with who I open business bank accounts with, in the sense of I look for banks that offer introductory 0% interest credit. And the reason for this is because it's essentially free money that you can leverage to start up your business without being charged interest. But the key is you want to make sure that whatever business you're getting into, you want to make sure that it's profitable. So, like for instance, I knew trucking was pretty much going to be profitable, so I took the leap of faith and I leveraged my credit. So you don't want to leverage a credit for something that you don't really have a business plan or you don't know the numbers for, because you're going out there with blind faith, and that's never a good thing. So you want to make sure when you do this, you want to make sure that you serious and you ready to do what you got to do. But pretty much, you want to open up business bank accounts with you got Credit unions, you could go with credit unions because they offer low interest lines of credit and loans. You could go with the mid-tier banks as well because they offer no interest business credit. So you got the Regions, SunTrust, BB&T, PNC. So these are your mid-tier banks. Key Bank is another one. So these are mid-tier banks that offer 0% interest business credit cards. Then you got your larger banks. You got your Chases, American Expresses, your Capital One, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Discover. So you got the larger banks as well. They all offer 0% interest business credit. So what you can do is apply for all of these business credit card applications in one day. And you could do it at night. It's better to do it at night. It's called late night funding. The banks are usually closed, so it's easier to get automatic approvals at night. So you can do funding from like 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. Eastern. So you can pull up every credit card application for all the banks, and you can submit your applications one by one. And if your credit profile is structured correctly, you can you'll get your approvals. And the thing is, every bank doesn't pull from all three bureaus. So you got some banks that only pull from one bureau. And the good thing with business credit is that the credit account, the business credit account, will not show up on your personal credit. So there's a way where you can call the bureaus and you can get your inquiries, your hard inquiries that you just put on your credit profile from all of those applications. You can call the bureaus and you can get those hard inquiries removed off your credit profile. So then it's like it never happened. So now once you get those wiped off, you can do it again for another LLC the next week. And you can keep doing it again and again and again.
Well, that's a gem right there.
This man putting on a whole. Hey, this man just put a whole course on right there. God, hey.
Hey, that's it. And the good thing with business credit, it don't show up on personal. So you can max those balances out and you won't have to worry about your credit card utilization going up and your score decreasing. So I'm all focused on business credit. I don't apply for personal credit anymore. It's all business credit. So for example, I'm opening up a drop shipping store that's going to be fully automated. I'm going to have somebody managing it, and I needed to get funding for the LLC that I created for that for that business. So last night I went through a round of business funding, and I applied for a couple of Chase credit cards. And with Chase, you can apply for 2 credit cards and only get hit with 1 hard inquiry.
Hmm.
I applied for 2 Chase cards, 2 American Express cards. American Express is the same way. You can apply for 3 or 4 American Express cards and only get hit with 1 hard inquiry on Experian. So I applied for 2 with American Express, 2 with Chase, 1 with SunTrust, and 1 with US Bank. So out of those 6 credit cards, I got a total of 53,000 in 0% interest business funding. So now I have the money I need to start up my drop shipping store.
And how long have you had that LLC active? How long does it take for you to be able to get this funding with your LLC?
So you could get it as soon as you open up your LLC. So you can start an LLC today, open your business bank account tomorrow, apply for business credit on Friday or Saturday.
So brand new, before you even like build, you know how they say you got to build your business credit, you got to reach tier 1 and tier 2 and these things. Before you even do all that, you can just apply for credit cards.
If you have good personal credit, you can bypass all of that. Because the thing is, the bureaus, you're a personal guarantor, so they're checking your personal credit. They're not looking at your business credit.
Right.
But where the Dun and Bradstreet and all that come in? I know they talk about the paydex score and all of that.
Yeah, so that
break that down.
So the Dun and Bradstreet comes into play when it comes to reporting. So some banks will report to Dun and Bradstreet. So for example, US Bank, when you get a business credit card with US Bank, they will report to Dun and Bradstreet. But most banks don't report to Dun and Bradstreet. But the good thing with Dun and Bradstreet is it establishes your business credibility because other companies can look your business up. And if they find a Dun and Bradstreet profile, that pretty much validates your business. So you do want to get your DUNS number set up, and you do want to go through the traditional route with the net 30 accounts the store business credit, and then the bank business credit as well. You want to go through the steps and build out your business credit profile, but it's not necessary to get business credit.
You got an ebook, right?
I got an ebook, man. I got two ebooks. I got a do-it-yourself credit repair ebook, and I have my financially fit blueprint reloaded ebook, which is more centered around personal finance.
Hey, all I'm saying is I'm over here taking notes. If y'all ain't getting nothing from this, at least he just gave y'all the whole play to go get an LLC started, get you some funding. The man got businesses all making 5 figures plus a month. Like, I don't know what else y'all need. You got a course, right?
So I got a course. I got a 4-week program where I break down. It's 8 sessions in 4 weeks, two sessions a week, Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. So I got a course where first week is all about setting up your LLC. So I walk you through everything that I just described. Um, and then on the second session is more so centered around building business credit. So I show you the different net 30 accounts you want to get set up, how to do your Dun and Bradstreet profile, um, and the store business account. So I walk you through building up your business credit the traditional route, and I also show you how you can get business credit off of your personal credit. Second week is credit repair. So I show you how to remove all negative items, all collections, charge offs. Third week, trade line business. So I show you how to start building out the credit profile with the primary trade line. So these are accounts that you open up in your name. So these could be secured credit cards, secured loans, different credit builder accounts, auto loans, student loans. All of those are primary trade lines. So I break down primary trade lines and then the authorized user trade lines and how you can start a business out of the authorized user trade lines and make $100,000 a year. Um,
Mm.
so that's week 2. That's week 3. I also break down the funding. So I also show you the specific credit card sequence that I go through that you can get 50 to 100,000 in 0% interest personal funding. And then week 4, I close out with manufacturer spending. And basically that's a way to liquidate, which means pull out the cash from your credit cards. So I'll show you how to manufacture spend, pull the cash out of your credit cards without getting charged cash advance fees. I show you how you can make money off of your credit cards by manufacture spending. And I also show you how you can leverage a credit to start up a car rental business. So you could buy economy cars, put them up on Turo, hire a car, show you how you can get luxury cars and not pay money for those as well by leveraging Turo. And then I close it out with the intro to trucking. So the last session is me going through how to set up your trucking business, how to look at the load boards, how dispatching works, what the rate confirmations and the BOLs look like, which brokers to work with for your first 30 days. So that's what I go through in my program. So you pretty much getting everything you need to start any business. And then specifically, if you want to get into the trucking business, I show you that as well.
I have a question. So, manufacturer spending, because I've been reading up on this, and I don't be knowing that that's a legit thing.
Yeah, it's legit. It's not illegal. I show that in my course too. Like it's companies out there that let you manufacture spend. It's not illegal. So it's a real thing. It's people out here making 6 figures off of manufacturer spending.
No, I don't know where I first heard somebody mention it, but I just started. It probably was like a couple weeks ago, like maybe a month or so ago, and I was just like, man, I just started doing a lot of research on it. So yeah, it's good to know like that's like a legit thing because
Mm.
I've been sitting here like, man, but how much your course cost for everybody that's out there that want to know? Because at this point, you just said you're about to get people set up with about 5 different businesses off of your one course, and I mean at that point, it's a return regardless what the price is.
So with my course, I offer 2 different types of courses. I have the group program and I have the one-on-one if you want, one-on-one private coaching. The group is $12.97. So it's basically 1,300 for the group. It's 4 weeks. You get all the recordings. So you get all the Zoom recordings that we'll do. So you don't have to take notes while we're, on Zoom. and you also get all the educational material, all the PowerPoints. So you get everything that you need, and you always have that forever. Um, and you also, I do monthly calls as well. So, like for example, I have somebody coming on to talk to my people about the vending machine business in a couple weeks. Last week, I had some people come on talking about the drop shipping store with Walmart. So I have, I still pour into my mentees through having these monthly calls, as well as they still have access to me after the 4 weeks. So they still, can ask me questions, call me, things like that. So it's $12.97 for the 4 week program. For the one-on-one is $22.97, so it's $2,300. And the one-on-one is more so centered around whatever your specific needs are. So we can customize your sessions based on, whatever you're struggling with or whatever you want to learn about.
Now, I don't want people to like let this go with their head, right? The man just said he could basically, for one, the trade line business alone get shit. He said 6 figures.
Yeah.
So it's up to you. Whatever. I always, because a lot of people have this negative thing with pay, of course, but my man just said he can walk you through step by step with 4 different industries basically and get y'all paid. So it's up to y'all, man. At the end of the day, he can give you the play, but y'all got to go take action. So link up with my boy Deangelo, man.
And I ain't trying to, toot my own horn or nothing, but I made $6,000 in the past week off of my trade line business, and that's just one thing.
Hey, you gotta say less.
I might need to buy that. I might need to buy that.
I just want to pivot to the last section, man. It's talk to the culture segment. We just run off 5 questions, man, and then we're just gonna get up out of here. So first question is, what does wealth look like to you?
So to me, wealth looks like waking up in the morning, whatever time you want to wake up, doing whatever you want to do, and not being stressed about money.
All right. Second question is just a book recommendation out there for anybody. It could be business, life, whatever.
A book recommendation, man. It's a lot of books, man. I don't want to be basic and say Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I don't almost banned that book. Everybody say that book. That's a good book, though.
It is. I like the 48 Laws of Power. It's a tough read, but it shows you how to kind of manipulate your way through the world.
Yeah, I'm like on the 10th. That book lengthy. So next question, what failure taught you the most?
What failure taught me the most? I would say not doing my due diligence with business deals. So I've gotten burned a couple times, lost thousands of dollars by just, doing business partnerships with people who weren't valid. So that was probably one of my biggest failures. So I definitely vet people out now, if, they're trying to do business with me.
All right, so this is a Black podcast, so we all about the Black people. Just give me like one thing you think the Black community needs to improve on.
The one thing we need to improve on is start working on trusting each other more. We don't really have a lot of trust due to, whatever reasons. It could be slavery or whatever. But we need to work on trusting each other more and working more as a community and as a group, because we can really get ahead and we can close that wealth gap if we start practicing group economics for real and partnering up, doing business together.
Yes, sir. And then just last thing, man, just give everybody you don't already drop so much game, but just one more piece of advice for anybody out there listening.
I mean, take action, man. We in the information age, we in the digital age. The information is here. You can get on YouTube, and if you really want to make it happen, you can make it happen. So if you want something out of life, just go get it. Like I really want to be a millionaire. That's my goal, and it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time, because that's where my focus is at. So just really be about taking action. Don't be sitting on the couch watching TV, scrolling on social media all day, every day, because you're gonna look up 5 years from now, and you're still gonna be in the same place because you never took action.
I just want to thank you, brother, for coming on, man. We appreciate you coming on, dropping this game.
Yeah, you were great. I learned a lot.
Man, appreciate y'all.
I definitely learned a lot.
All right, man. Y'all know what it is. And if y'all got any value from this, and I know y'all got a whole bunch of value, go ahead, like, comment, rate this 5 stars. Go tap in with my boy Deangelo. Can you tell everybody real quick where they can find you at, how they can get in contact with you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Ello the Plug. It's spelled like hello without the H, ELLO_THEPLUG. So you can find me on Instagram, Ello the Plug. You can also visit my website at www.thefinanciallyfitblueprint.com. That's the financiallyfitblueprint.com. And then you can also contact me via email at info@ffbenterprises.com. That's info@ffbenterprises.com.
All right, and we'll have all that in the show notes for anybody that want to tap in with Deangelo, man. Like we always say, we're good at success for everybody around you struggling, man. So each one reach one, each one teach one. Appreciate you, my brother.
Appreciate you.